everyone. Today we are going to talk about a review of mine and Matt's 16th wedding anniversary trip. So to start off with, this was a trip that was a complete surprise to me. Normally, Matt and I both together work on doing the surprises for the kids, for our family vacations, for the kids' solo trips. Most of that all works together. This time, he literally contacted me like 24 hours before. He was at work when he got all this taken care of. And he contacted me on his lunch break and said, I have a sitter, I have a place for us to go. This is where we're going and all that. So I had 24 hours to plan what normally I plan like weeks and months ahead for a trip. Normally I have packing already done by a week before so that I can, or at least start it. So I at least started a week before. There are sometimes I have been packed a week before. But I start packing a week before and I have all the lists made, and I think I've done other videos on how I plan out steps ahead before trips. If not, next time we do like a really, really big trip, I will tell you our process of like how we lead up to that. But normally I have a lot more time to prepare. So for starters, it was a surprise. He surprised me for it, and it was just a complete shock. We hadn't done a trip like that in years where it was just the two of us. We had planned on doing one in 2020, and I'm probably gonna do another vlog where I talk about our travel plans and how they changed from 2020 and what we're looking at for the rest of 2021. So yeah, we're starting with, it was a surprise. I had 24 hours to plan. How we did a trip where we had 24 hours to plan. Thankfully, the place that we wanted had a reservation for us, and because of current circumstances where, you know, if you're sick, you can't go, or fevers or any of that, they currently have a policy for Holiday Inn. This is for February 2021. They have a policy that if you can cancel up to, I think, the night before with no penalties. Normally you would have to cancel 48 hours before, and some of the rooms you could not cancel at all. You got none of your money back. But we were able to, if we wanted to, cancel 24 hours before. Technically, we found out 24 hours before, so we didn't even have to worry about any of that because that wasn't even a thing for us. But we were able to get the place to stay. We didn't have to worry about cancellations, any of that. We paid when we arrived, and it was touch-free payment at the counter when we arrived. So let's see, I'm trying to go in order of how things went. So we had sitter lined up. We left after he got off work, and we were literally gone 24 hours. So we left our house at around 4 p.m. and we came back around 4 p.m. We opted to not stop anywhere on the way up. We wanted to just go ahead and get bags checked because we wanted, or not, all bags checked for us is get in the hotel room, drop our bags off. For some places, it literally is bags checked. So normally when I refer to the process of arriving somewhere and dropping your bags at the hotel, you just say bags checked because there are some places where it is bags checked. But our goal was to get up there and get the bags to places because of 2020, 2021 travel restrictions. Most places that were used to being open 24 hours a day in Pigeon Forge no longer are, at least currently in February 2021. The Walmart was not going to be open 24 hours. Most of the restaurants were closing at 10 p.m. Most of the shopping stores were closing at 9 to 10 p.m. So our goal was get up there as quick as we could, drop bags off, and then go get dinner at a place we wanted to eat at up there. Travel up there worked fine. So check-in for 2021. Like I said, we walked in, there was plexiglass at the counter, masks were required at check-in. And anytime you were in the hallway, anytime you were anywhere outside of your room or outside the parking lot, in Tennessee currently you don't have to wear masks out. And again, this is February 2021. You do not have to wear masks. You may see this in March, but this is what happened in February. You do not have to wear masks outside. So you did have to wear them anywhere inside in a public space. So the hallways, the cafeteria, or technically the lunchroom-ish area, I'll explain that in a minute. The elevator, and I think to the pool. I don't know if we didn't actually use the pool, so I'm not sure if they actually expect you to wear them until you actually get in. And if you're not getting in, if you have to wear them. We didn't ask any of that because we didn't use the pool this time. But we did go in. We had to have a mask on to go in. They did contactless payment, and we were able to get our key and go upstairs and check in. The room, you've seen the room tour. If you haven't, I'll link it up in the cards above. It was exactly what we wanted. It was a king leisure suite, or leisure room. It's a Holiday Inn Express and suite, so technically all the rooms are suites. It was a king room, so it had like the king size bed, had its own bathroom, it had a desk area. And I was kind of confused about that because like the executive, you pay more for like an executive workspace, but the leisure and the executive apparently both have desks in them. They both had two corded phones in them. It had a Keurig, it had a chair with a footrest, and it also had a fridge and a microwave. So it had all the amenities that we wanted for just a 24-hour stay. We went, we dropped everything off, and then we drove into almost Pigeon Forge to go to Longhorn Steakhouse. We did the review with that along with our dinner. Like when we showed our dinner, we did the review in the parking lot because we figured go ahead and do it while we were both fresh and while we were both there. As you can see, I'm the only one doing the actual trip review because Matt's at work right now. So again, Longhorn video, be up there. And this will also be in the playlist with the rest of the trip videos. We did Longhorn, and things we didn't show. We didn't show, you know, everything because it was actually fairly crowded for it being Valentine's Day weekend. So one of the comments I had whenever I asked anybody if they had any questions was, what were the crowds like? And the Walmart was so crowded. I was actually surprised at how crowded it was. Most people were doing the mask mandates. I'm not going to say everybody was. And honestly, I'm not going to fault like every business because I've seen people at stores that have very good mask policies where people are still going to try to sneak around and then take their mask off when nobody's looking. So I don't really fault like each individual business when people do that because people are going to be people. But if you're looking for a place to get stuff, either don't go to Walmart there, have stuff delivered, or take stuff with you from a pickup. They did have several, the Sevierville / Pigeon Forge Walmart Supercenter did have a pickup spot, and like they had a lot of space where you could do pickup and you could schedule pickup. So if you don't like the crowds right now, that might be an option for you, is to look into doing pickup at that Walmart. And that Walmart, we were at the end of the 407 exit off of the Bass Pro Shop Road. I think they called it, it was something road. Anyways, but we're like right there, right off the exit, technically in Kodak / East Sevierville, and then we drove 20 minutes in to go to Longhorn. Then the Walmart's right there by it. But we opted also to go there because everything else was already closed. Like I wanted to go to Aldi's up there. It was already closed by the time we finished dinner. Dinner crowd wasn't that bad. Longhorn was great. They were really good at spacing people out. There were plexiglass between each booth. They were actually filling booths first because there was plexiglass in between them. Then as it got busier, which it never really got to full capacity, they would seat people at the tables. But Walmart was super busy. So if you're looking to avoid crowds, definitely avoid high crowd areas. Like I said, Longhorn for us, I'm still biased, it's the best steak place in Pigeon Forge. The crowd was great and they were really careful, and I love the way that they handled all that. Plus the food was amazing, so. But Walmart I would avoid. We went to one other small shop and it was not crowded, and they were really good with the mask mandates. So like some of the smaller shops up there, they are a little bit more careful with that and it's less busy. So maybe consider shopping at smaller places versus any of that. I didn't check out Tanger Outlet. We ended up not going to the Cater like I wanted to go to because our goal was really just time to bond together, and he and I are both introverts. So like we spent a lot of time just relaxing at the hotel, or like the next morning we both were up early, but then we ended up falling back asleep and then getting to breakfast late. So like that was mainly our goal. So we didn't do like, normally when we go, we don't do a lot of touristy things. Plus we're fairly local, so we can break up doing touristy things. That wise, we just didn't really hit a lot of the crowd, even though it was we were checking out the Friday of the weekend of Valentine's Day. Let's see, other places that were crowds would be like Bass Pro Shop, and I'll get back to like the next day in a minute, but like Bass Pro Shop was okay. It was kind of busy, but it's a huge store so people could spread out. The beef jerky outlet, we were the only people in there. The chocolate monkey, there were people on the front porch smoking, no masks on. So like that one I was not very happy about, but we just waited until people left before we even got out of our car to go up to the store to go in. Because literally like the smoke or the eating area, the outdoor eating right now, because their indoor dining is closed, there were people out there smoking with no mask on. So we just avoided going into the store until they were gone. But there were places like that. Again, people are going to be people. I don't know if anybody could have done any better with certain circumstances. Texas Roadhouse was okay. We got what we wanted. We wanted the cactus blossom / bloomin' onion / the onion where you shred, or you know, you cut it into the smaller pieces, not the giant petals, and then you deep fry it. But even it was loud and it was crowded. I know like all Texas Roadhouse usually have a lot of noise. It's that country-esque feel to it, but like even that, so that part of the crowded as well, like I thought they were seating people way too close together and they were not doing really well with social distancing. So overall, trip-wise of crowds, check out some of the restaurants on low crowd nights, and then maybe on the busier nights go to either hole-in-the-wall places, maybe plan on eating, you know, at your hotel or something if you're really worried about crowds at meal times. And again, the Texas Roadhouse was technically not in Pigeon Forge, it was in East Knoxville. So like if you take 40 to 640 on your way back from Pigeon Forge through Knoxville, it's the first exit on 640 west 640 west that way. But it's in the East Knoxville area. So the hotel itself, I would give a 5 out of 5. The only actual complaint we had was, again, a person, not really the hotel itself. There was one person who, they wanted people to come through one way and go out another to get food and watch the social distance markers. This one woman came through and was not doing social distancing at all. And she was like just standing there and was like looking around of, oh, look what they have, and talking out loud and all that. And then she would not go back around. She actually walked past us while we were ordering our food. But again, that was not, and there was only like, because they have less staff right now, they only had one person working breakfast. So I did leave a note on that of maybe some of the places that during busier times have a second staff member right there. And it was also the end of breakfast, so maybe they did earlier in the morning and we missed it. But that was the only problem we ever had the whole hotel stay, and that was a person, not the actual hotel itself. The amenities were great. Everything was stocked. All the soaps were stocked. The fridge worked just fine. I didn't try the Keurig because we got coffee downstairs because there was only one. Usually they have 2 regular and 2 decaf, but I guess because of you know, sanitation and all that, they only had 1 regular, 1 decaf. So we just brought our own coffee up from breakfast. So I actually didn't use the Keurig this time. Checkout went great. You drop your card, the plastic cards go into a bowl of like sanitized liquid. The sleeves go into something else. I don't even know if they reuse the sleeves because they can't put cardboard in a liquid container. That worked out well. We dropped everything off and checked out just fine. No problems at all. Then, like I said, we went to Bass Pro Shop, we went to Beef Jerky Outlet, and then we went to Chocolate Monkey, all right there next to the hotel. Technically, we could have walked to all of those and left the car where it was, but it still would have been a quite lengthy walk, and there's traffic in and out of there all the time. So we chose to just kind of inch the car closer to the exit back onto I-40 as we were going. So, like I said, you could have left your car there, but we just didn't. Like I said before, in several things, just a little tidbit right here. One of the reasons why we like going to Bass Pro Shops so much is there's an indoor waterfall there with a large fish aquarium. So if you're ever in the area and looking for something for kids to do and maybe want to consider staying at that hotel because it's cheaper than staying in Pigeon Forge at a Holiday Inn, and it still has a hot continental breakfast. There's the indoor waterfall there, and technically you don't have to buy anything, but we usually do because that's our thing. So otherwise, overall trip recap, the only crowds we really hit was Texas Roadhouse and Walmart. Of the places we ate at Longhorn, we ate at the hotel breakfast, and we ate at Texas Roadhouse. Longhorn was amazing. I've already done the review up there. We also did the breakfast as a separate video to show you how they were doing social distancing breakfast for 2021. that was exactly what we wanted. And it was actually even better than I was expecting driving up, because I was thinking it was going to be cold breakfast, like cereal, or like take oatmeal to your room like we normally do and just heat up the water in your Keurig. But it wasn't. It was hot breakfast with hot food, and it was amazing. And she was super patient and sweet with, you know, every little detail, and we loved it. Texas Roadhouse, I'm still not going to give it more than a 3 out of 5, because like my kids are even less pickier than I am, and I let them try what I had brought home with my burger, and even they were like, Mom, this is kind of weird. Why is the burger so soft? So if you haven't seen that, I left an honest review video of that whole experience. Again, also, if you're looking at avoiding crowds, don't do Texas Roadhouse. Overall, from this trip, it was exactly what we wanted. We had time to relax. The hotel, with the way they worked out breakfast till 9:30, made it to where we could just sleep in, relax in our room. And then once we even finished breakfast in our room, okay, so I forgot to actually add that part. You take the breakfast up to your room, or you take it when you leave the hotel. You cannot eat downstairs. So we brought it upstairs, and we were able to just relax and take our time eating breakfast, take our time packing up, and then be out by 11. We were cutting it close, but we leave by 11. I don't honestly like travel wise, just from the little bit that I just said we did, minus the mask mandates, there really wasn't much difference. There really wasn't. We had our own hand sanitizers on us. I had bought a 10-pack for each of us for masks if we wanted to change them out. Overall, the only thing that really felt different were the masks. That was it, was the mask mandate. Yes, there were some places that weren't as pushy with it, but like with Longhorn, if we hadn't come during a slow time, we actually would have waited in our car, and then they would have paged us to come in whenever it was time. But we literally walked right in and went straight to a booth. And like I said, the restaurant itself also was more spaced out. I don't know. I tried my best not to completely bash Texas Roadhouse on there, because the food was okay. It just wasn't like my favorite atmosphere, and that could, like I said in the video, that's probably just a personal thing for me. But I also felt like even though I was willing to travel during the circumstances going on right now, I still didn't want to be like really close contact with people. And I think that was another thing that kind of just like really bothered me about that, was how crowded that place was. But overall, our trip went exactly the way we wanted it to. If you're considering a trip to Pigeon Forge, I would definitely consider staying in a place that's not like right there in the center of everything. That's what we absolutely love about the Kodak Holiday Inn, is because it's right on 407, and because it's a little bit of a drive away from like all the touristy things, the hotel's always been less busy. We have stayed there before when there's a bass fishing tournament, and we stayed there before when there was a cheerleading group staying there, and it still didn't feel like super rushed, crowded, any of that, and we were still able to have a good time on those trips. So if you're looking at like really wanting to get away but still social distance, I would definitely recommend the Kodak Holiday Inn. I would definitely recommend checking out smaller shops, like not a lot of the bigger shops. Check out some of the smaller ones. And then, like I said, for steakhouse restaurant wise, I really recommend Longhorn. This is the second time we've been, and the quality was fantastic. So we really had. So I hope you really enjoyed this review. I hope I covered everything. Also, one little funny thing to end with. I was setting up for this and posted a picture on Instagram, and somebody was like, why do you always film in your room? That's kind of weird. I actually say that because, as you can see, my lighting is much better in here than any other room in the house. I love the way this room was built because the lighting is fantastic. So I wanted to add that little funny bit in the end, because they were like, I was like, hey, do y'all have any questions? And somebody's like, I got a question. Why do you film in your room? So I wanted to cover that real big, just to kind of end with the funny note. But anyways, I am so thankful that you all followed us along, and I thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, because it helps us to be able to do more trips like this where we help our family's dreams come true. It was our dream for 2021 to get to go on a couples weekend, and we were able to do that. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share these videos if they help you. Let us know if you have any questions below, and we will see you next time.